Okay. Welcome, guys. Just a quick check on tech. Are we working? Are we going through? We're on Facebook, we're on YouTube, we're on Instagram. We are live in Birmingham. It's only the second event that we've done since lockdown, and it's always challenging getting the tech right for these kind of events, because when you've got a live audience and a live interview, and then you combine that with people that you bring in, you've got to be resilient in the way that you address the tech, in the way that you get things moving. But today, I'm delighted to say we've got a fantastic lineup of guests for you. The goal today, guys, is to inspire entrepreneurs, is to get guys like you motivated by the stories of others. And every single time I talk to a successful entrepreneur, they will give you examples of the way they've used resilience in order to further their business. And without resilience, you have got absolutely no chance of finding success. But using other people's stories is what's going to motivate you to find that extra strength, to go that extra mile. So with that in mind, he's going to love this picture. The first guest we've got is Mr. Mark Linton, founder, CEO of the Business Growth Network. This guy is an absolute legend. I've known him for many, many years. I'm going to be doing a live interview with him. I've set him up here because I found the funniest picture I could. And that, you got to admit, that one's it's a cracker, isn't it? We're going to be finding out about Mark's journey. Mark's been in business for many, many years, and we're going to be finding out why he's so resilient. How's he managed to get to where he is now with all the obstacles that he has had to overcome over the years. And then we've got Mr. David Rahman. This guy, you all know him. He's an absolute legend. He's the guy that we turn to get our head on straight. If anybody knows a thing or two about resilience, it's this guy. He's just always so inspiring. This guy's going to be doing nearly an hour's work of presentation to you today, helping you understand the mind science behind resilience and all the things that go around being an entrepreneur. And you know what? It's more about being a human being. These are all things that we face, whether we're in business or whether we are, if we're trying to be successful in whatever it is that we apply ourselves to. David is just awesome at breaking it down and identifying those traits, those areas that are gonna help you get past those hurdles. So can't wait for that one. Really looking forward to it. And then last but not least, after I've done a little bit in between, is a good friend of mine, Gustaf Wilhelm Hellstedt. Now, this guy is a Swedish entrepreneur. I've only known him for a couple of years now, but he's one of those guys that when I first met him, we just had an instant connection. He's a true entrepreneur. He's been an entrepreneur for so many years, and he's been involved in so many different kinds of businesses. It's going to be an absolute fascinating chat because this guy's got a wealth of experience that anybody that is looking to be successful in business is going to find inspiration from. And now he's a coach. Now he helps people. He's an author. He's a speaker. All-round top guy. Can't wait for that chat. And I know he's going to have some great stories to share as well throughout the time that we spend with him. So really looking forward to that one at the end. We're looking to finish around about 5 o'clock UK time, guys. We may run a little bit, well, actually we won't run over. We may run a little bit short. We haven't rehearsed this. So but we've got a rough schedule that we've got to keep to. So sit tight, get yourself, a cup of coffee, glass of water, whatever it is that you need, and just enjoy the show, guys. The purpose is to get inspiration, to get motivation, and to get yourself in that place where you can overcome anything with that resilience. Okay, so there is no straight line to success. Brilliance in resilience is what this is all about, and finding the ways that you can use tools to be resilient is what we're going to try and pull out of these entrepreneurs today. Because as you know, guys, most of the people watching this will be familiar with the Blam partnership program. So as I should have introduced myself right at the beginning, Grant Staines, my name. I'm the CEO here at Blam Partners. And my goal is to assist our partners who are all digital agency owners. And their goal is to grow a business selling websites, apps, SEO, social media, and all the different digital marketing tools that they can help small to medium-sized business owners with when they're helping them with their marketing. Now, as part of that, all Blam partners, and a lot of you that are watching today, will understand that in business, you have to apply tools to keep you on track, to keep you resilient. And the reason that we put on events like this is predominantly to help Blam partners and Blam partners customers, because you are all entrepreneurs and you are all in the same boat. You are all together. We're all together as entrepreneurs. And as my coach always says to me, we're in the 1%, guys. Being an entrepreneur and being a successful entrepreneur is not for everybody. It's the road less traveled. And the one thing, and the reason we did this show today that stands out against all successful entrepreneurs, you will not meet one successful entrepreneur, whether they're a Blam partner or any kind of franchise, any kind of business, our gurus that we look at, you will not meet one that has not got extreme resilience, because being in business, guys, you remember the brutal business boot camp, it's 10 times harder than you expect it to be. It's actually 10 times more fun. It's not negative. It's 10 times more fun as well. But only the guys with resilience, only the people that are willing to follow through are the ones that actually make it. And with that in mind, I'm going to introduce now my first guest. Now, Mr. Mark Linton. I've known this guy for quite a few years now. And we've shared a very similar journey in business. We've had our ups and downs. We've had, the ability to be able to look back now in hindsight and help other entrepreneurs and help them understand what it takes. Mark is one of the most resilient people I have ever met, and he's actually a bit of a super sub today. So Mark, absolutely delighted that you could stand in for us. We had somebody drop out at the last minute, and then I realised, you know what, Mark is absolutely perfect for this, because I really do want to dig under the bonnet of some of the things that Mark's been involved in. And so, without further ado, let's welcome him to the stage, Mr. Mark Linton. Take a seat, mate.
Oh, thanks, mate. Good to see you. Good to see you. I'm always wary when someone leaves.
Oh, got the mic?
Yeah, hang on. Yeah, always wary.
Just do a quick sound check. Are we good with the mic?
Check
Is it connected?
Yeah. No.
Just click it. Is it coming on? No.
It's meant to come on 1 or 2.
Number 2, that one should be.
2 is blank.
Right. Let me just have a quick check.
Okay,
We knew there'd be tech support here.
Yeah.
I'll just pop that over here. Sorry, guys. We'll just get the tech going. We need to get that connected. It's not on. Should go on now.
I'm not seeing anything yet.
Testing. It's not working, is it?
No.
Oh, well, we may have to improvise. Always embrace the beauty of technology, guys. So we'll see how it performs if we put the mic. Where can we put it? We put it. I'll put it on my knee there. How's that looking? Are we picking up? Yeah, these mics are really good actually. When they work, they're really good. But if we put that there, that should be good. So, Mark, delighted to you joining me, mate. It's been a journey, hasn't it? The entrepreneurial journey for you.
Massively. I mean, and I think the biggest fear for a lot of people is they don't want to share their failures. And I feel like we have to talk about those failures. We have to acknowledge them if we want to move forward.
That is so true. But I'll tell you what, let's go right back, because I know that your story began when you were in the military.
Yeah, absolutely. So when I was in the military, I had a couple of moments, if you like, where you're a young lad and you think life's a breeze. You join the British Army, and it was a great place to be. Don't get me wrong, but it was, how you dealt with some of those challenges was difficult because what the army teaches you is to be tough and not to, deal with emotions. Emotions are weakness, if you like. And I remember a friend of mine. I was speaking to him, in Cyprus, part of the UN, the day before, and he told me that he'd looked to put his rifle in his mouth and take his own life. I was 18. I didn't know what to do, didn't know what to say. I simply, I remember at the cookhouse saying to him, "Oh, you'll be okay, buddy, and that was it." But having reflected the next evening whilst on duty, I said to him, like, "Hi, Stuart, are you okay?" And we'd speak on landlines at the time. And he just went silent. I said, "Stu, are you okay?" And I heard this deafening sound as he took his own life. Obviously, I didn't know that was the case. I knew that obviously there was gunfire. And I remember seeing the QRF, Quick Reaction Force, diving out of the building. Over the airways, you've got all the incoming communications coming in. And I just felt, they were saying 0-0, contact, wait out. And I was like thinking, it's not contact, it's my friend Stuart, he's done it, and I couldn't say anything. I was literally, speechless, which is really hard to believe these days, so I keep quiet like, but I just stood there and thought, oh my God, what's happened? And I remember about half an hour, 45 minutes being relieved from duty. I thought, fantastic, brilliant. I'll be able to go and see Stuart. It's on the next tower. I'll be able to go and see what he was doing. And I just got told, Linton, stand on that corner there. No one comes in, no one goes out. It's pouring the rain, so it's not sunshine and sand. It was absolutely trenching the rain. And I thought, okay, I'm in the British Army, I've got a job to do. As much as I want to go and see my friend and make sure he's okay or find out what's going on, I've got to do my job. And I was in no fit state of mind to be on that cordon that day. I remember a young family coming through, a father and a son. I'm a father now. I wasn't back then. I was only 18. And, great Cypriot said, I live down there. I don't speak much English. I want to go home. And I was like, no, the road's closed off. You can't go. And literally, he was like, no, I'm going. I'm driving, and got back in his car. I remember standing there, cocking the weapon, put it into my shoulder and say, halt, British Army, or fire. Now, we're taught, to obviously defend, someone in danger, immediate danger. No one was in immediate danger. Even I wasn't in immediate danger. I shouldn't have been on that call.
And it's because your emotional state.
Emotional state. And I remember my CEO coming past at the time, simply from the Land Rover, pulled the window across and said, Linton, stand down. And it was instant. I was sorry to say yes, sir, no worries. I said, let him through. But what I mean is, in life, no one teaches you any of this.
No.
You try to come to terms with it. And I think these days we're more in tune with mental health, the issues surrounding, especially because of COVID, the issues surrounding mental health. But back then, and even to a point now, I'm peeling those layers of those onions, a lot of us are struggling with pent up, emotions that we're not dealt with. And in business, you'll go through those emotions.
Well, I mean, what a start to your young adulthood.
Yeah, absolutely.
You couldn't have had a more traumatic experience.
Yeah.
And I mean, talk about resilience. To go through that is, such a I think most people couldn't imagine it. They just couldn't imagine it.
But I talk about this now, and I'm doing a talk next week actually at an event, and one of it is talking on this journey. And one of the things that it helped me come to terms with, and it has taken me 30 years, and I remember doing a talk before lockdown for you guys about this. It's taken me 30 years to come to terms with my friend taking his own life. For many years, I just thought it was cowardly. He left me to talk to his mom, his sister, and tell them that he took his life, and I was the last person to speak to him. And that was, heroism in itself type thing. And I just remember feeling like how could you do this to me? How could I, and yeah, they got the channels, but they wanted answers. I was the last person to speak to Stuart alive type thing, and they wanted answers. But moving fast forward, and this kind of fits into the journey, I lost the business, lost the franchise, lost it all type thing. People owed me about £250,000, and for a long time I was trying to, restructure, try to keep that business going, but it was time to let it go. And I found myself no job, no income, and no business. And you think, well, hang on, you're sort of sitting there as someone who's supposed to be successful. Success only comes from your failures, and it's taken me a long time to realise that and build myself back up. Now, I found myself, and I think I spoke of this at the time, I found myself down in Gloucestershire on a hill overlooking this church, one of the oldest churches in Gloucester. And I was just like thinking really sorry for myself. I wouldn't have taken my own life, but I was close to just running away. Forget it. I applied for, I think it was like over 150 jobs, gone through interviews after interviews. Never really told the real answer why you didn't get the job. I think I was about 45 at the time. Probably too old, too long in the tooth. You're never going to be employed type thing, but they would never tell you that. So I got shortlisted to some big names to do sales marketing manager and all the rest of it, but just didn't get anywhere. And that day I got 2 phone calls. One phone call was from EE, which I say
the phone company.
Yeah, EE, the phone company.
Yeah,
I owed them,
mobile phone.
Yeah, I owed them money for the phone.
Okay.
I owed them for the phone. And I think it was a few £100 at the time. And they said, like, it's been 3 months now. We haven't had a payment off yourself. And I explained to them that I was in a real dire straits situation. I couldn't afford to pay this bill. And, I didn't know where the next income was coming. I've been looking for a job, but this was my lifeline. This was my way of people talking to me, and I could get a job or I could do something. Employers were going to call me on it. And you know what? The customer service was amazing. They said to me, don't worry, take as long as you need, but what we'll do is we'll put a hold on your account for 6 months, and we will not charge you for 6 months.
Wow.
Yeah. And I just think, amazing. Yeah. Don't get it wrong.
Wow, that is
I owed the money, but
Yeah.
they didn't chase me, they didn't whatever, but they simply took the extra fourth vision of saying, how can I help you?
Yeah.
And I've stuck with them since. Yeah.
Yeah, wow, that's it. I mean, wow. That, do you know what? That story is a whole other event, isn't it? About
Absolutely.
how to go above and beyond.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, because I talk about people now, and I talk my family on it. I tell everyone, it's just like it's a great ambassador to say, look, I don't go into the massive story of why I choose it, but I say it's a great company to be part of on their network type thing. And then the second phone call was from a friend of mine, and he still is a good friend of mine, but he from church where he originally met. He's a godfather to my girls, and he said, "Oh, mate, just give me a call." And I said to him, "Look, I'm in a real dark place. I don't know what I'm doing. I've tried everything. I'm failing my family. I'm failing my wife, the kids, all of this." And he said, "Where are you?" And I told him where I was. He said, "Stay where you are. I'm coming to get you."
Wow.
I'm coming to get you. And he was in Birmingham, and he drove down to us.
Wow.
Yeah.
Do you know what? I just want to rewind a little bit actually, because I'm thinking when I first knew of you, one of your staff was on a mastermind group with me.
Yes.
And your business was flying at the time.
Yeah. I do remember it.
And I put you right on a pedestal. It was like, wow, Mark Linton's absolutely smashing it. You had a really successful franchise.
Yeah.
You were growing really quickly.
And it was amazing.
Yeah, and I thought, wow, that's the kind of guy, that I want to be involved with, because your trajectory at that time, I was behind you, chasing you, going, right, I want to be following that. And I know what it's like to lose a business. It's one of the worst feelings ever.
Yeah.
And so what I'm really interested to know, and what I really want to sort of share with the guys is, when you've got that trajectory where you can only see, the good stuff that's going to happen, and all of a sudden the wheels start falling off, and then you end up from being this super successful person that is trying to get to that next level, and then all of a sudden you're on a hill in Worcester, you know, with no money, no job, wondering, you know, what to do next. Where does the strength come from to not just, you know, give up?
Do you know, it's interesting, isn't it? Because you know, and I love my wife, and I know, yeah, you've got a great partner, and, you know, and they're behind you all the way. And if it wasn't for my wife and my family, I probably wouldn't have been able to do as much as I did, you know, or do. But there comes a time when they will say to you, "Get a job."
Yeah,
enough is enough.
Yeah,
get a job. Yeah, and literally, I remember sitting in the front room before all this, and yeah, talking to recruitment agencies, all the rest of it, stripping the wallpaper, painting. I was doing anything but. I mean, I even became a counsellor for one stage. I mean,
I remember,
brilliant counsellors, but I just
and that means
distraction.
as in a public servant counsellor, not a sit down and talk about your feelings like cats.
Exactly. I mean, I'll be great.
I'm sure you'd be good at that as well.
So yeah, so I threw myself into the community. I threw myself into everything, but obviously focusing on what was, you know, getting yourself back out there as a job. I was kind of like a little bit ashamed, and that's the difficulty for anyone who's been successful. As you say, I'm a projection, where you go, and then all of a sudden you come way down with a crash. Now, the hardest thing I find in the UK, and this is not disrespect to anyone in particular, but we are great to jump on failures. Yeah,
that unfortunately is true.
Yeah, and in America, I just see it as they celebrate it. Yeah, if you've had failure, if you've lost, then you can only go upwards. We just go, right, well, you've lost.
Yeah.
Poor you. Let's move on to the next. Yeah. And that's
get a job.
Yeah, get a job. And actually, if you look at the Dysons of the world, you know, Kentucky Fried Chicken, all of these, like, you know,
so many examples.
Yeah, exactly. And you just think, well, that's the inspiration I took. Is, you know, after dusting myself off and kind of like saying, right, where do I go? And it's interesting here. It's a big shout out for Jamil Shabir. He gave me a job. And bless. I probably was never
marketing agency.
Yeah, that's it. And I was never really a massive employable person. I think he probably proved that when I worked with him. But he didn't put any constraints on me. He was like, really trying to help me get to the next stage. We helped each other, and we're still good friends now, and I'm very grateful for what Jimmy did back then. Yeah. Because when I couldn't afford to take the family on holiday, when I didn't have an income, he reached out to me and gave me a purpose. Yeah. And that just gave me a real kick up the backside to get back out there.
And that specific story is really what today is all about, because sometimes giving up is kind of forced on us. Yes. When you lose a business, when you have the rug pulled from you, there's not a lot you can. Sometimes there's no way of rescuing it. But I do wonder, having had that happen to you, are you now relieved that some of those big jobs that you went for, you didn't get the job?
Absolutely no.
Because I could be sat here interviewing a middle management guy in bloody McDonald's or something like that.
Close to that. I mean, but yeah, I absolutely. I mean, I think you have to come to a realization as well. When you've been ban this word around a lot, entrepreneur, business owner, whatever one you want to call it. But when you've done your own thing for so long, you are unemployable. It doesn't matter which way you look at it. And the big boys, if they're looking, they want the young, not always young, but they want the career path that someone's taken.
The corporate
to be in it. And it's very hard for you to jump back into that. I did come from the corporate world, but actually I'm thankful for not being back in it.
I say that a lot. It's one of my sort of things I talk to people about is, if you're a true entrepreneur and you've had that taste of business, there's only two real ways that I can see you sort of moving forward, and that's either to have your own business or be in sales. Because if you're in sales, you've kind of got your own business. Do you know what I mean?
That's what got me into it in the first place.
Yeah. So it's interesting. The job that you took with Jimmy sales.
Yeah, with sales.
Because you still have to dance for your dinner.
Yeah.
You still, if you don't make sales, you haven't really got a job, which is kind of like running your own business anyway, but without all the payroll and all that kind of stuff.
Exactly. And they often say with if you can hunt your own dinner, then you're an asset to anyone.
Yeah.
Because what we say that, and give me an example. I've got a young person coming to start with now. We were just talking about that. Putting on events is great. Doing all this, and people think, wow, doing events, what a great job. I'd love to do that, or marketing, but they don't realise how much hard work goes into it.
Yeah, it's a massive amount of work.
So absolutely. So hats off to you guys for putting on any events.
Yeah. So fast forward to where you are now, mate. Your trajectory is in its ascendance again.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I suppose you got to think big if you want to obviously achieve. I've seen that with yourself. You guys are doing amazing. So it's a bit of an all the other way around now type thing. But I not holding on to the past, but you've got to let go of that past, but also at the same time move past that point of no return. So we started off doing, as you know, local events in Birmingham. And we were here in Birmingham today, but local events in Birmingham. And that was swimmingly well. 2018, set up, restructured what we were doing, went through the membership side of things in the business. And then sadly, we all got the lockdowns and the COVID.
I say sadly, it was actually awesome for you.
Yeah, absolutely. So we
collaborated we went live every single day, weekday during lockdown, didn't we? On a live show.
It was brilliant.
It was awesome.
Yeah. And in a lot of respects, I mean, obviously that was a great heyday.
It was all, it was like solidarity, wasn't it?
Yes.
When lockdown first happened, you and I were in the same offices. You had a small office opposite us.
Yeah.
And by the way, guys, Mark's networking group is the only networking group that I'm a member of. I always recommend partners join a networking group. I've got loads of business at Mark's group. I pay my dues every month. Well, obviously because I want to support Mark. That's not the only reason. I'll get business from it. It's not a bad investment.
Well, I was saying earlier because we ran an event here earlier, and I said to people, here's Grant. He's one of our founding members, and I'm very appreciative of you sticking by us through thick and thin. And you know what we've gone through, because we went through within lockdown. Within 3 days of not being able to do events, we put on our first ever online digital.
I remember it well.
Yeah.
Because I remember we were in the office together, and you came over, and it's like, Mark runs a networking, and it was predominantly it was all face to face. And then we were going into lockdown. None of us knew what to expect. It was action stations, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And you said to me, "How do I do this online thing?"
Absolutely. Like, what's online for?
How does all that work? Nobody heard of Zoom at that point, And so you had to do this huge. I mean, talk about resilience, mate. I mean, you pivoted like that.
Yeah, we have to do something.
Did you think of just throwing in the towel at that point?
No. I generally just looked and thought, you know what? Because you were using, and probably still do use Google Hangouts, isn't it?
Yeah, it used to be called Hangouts.
Oh, right. That's how old I am. Yeah. So I looked at that and thought, obviously people doing Google. And then I think someone said to me, look at Zoom. This is a new platform you can use, and it's kind of easy. So I think it was a choice of which one to use at the time.
Yeah.
But I used it. I set it up as Get Set Mondays.
Right.
Because it was once a month. We were going to do a meeting on a Monday and simply push that out there once a week. And within, I think, about 2-3 weeks, it went from once a week to 2 to 3 times a week to 5 times a week, 5 days a week. We were doing 10 to 11 every day.
And that is now kind of one of the foundations of the business.
Yeah, absolutely.
So in a way, lockdown, because you didn't throw in the towel, you just did it occur to you? Because I bet you had loads of members cancel.
Yeah, absolutely. Because we were doing it on face to face, and they were like, "Well, what's the point? You're not doing face to face."
Yeah.
Rather than trying to scrap around and say, "Well, you're committed to this and all the rest of it," we're just like, "Well, we've got to give you something else. We can't just put it like a gym membership, just keep going, and you don't go. We've got to give you something of value." And if we could prove there was a value in what we were doing, then there was a reason why you should be still a member. So we went from just members in Birmingham to members in Manchester, to members in Belfast, to members in Edinburgh, Glasgow, Cardiff, London, Nottingham, Leeds, obviously in Birmingham, but all over the country.
Wow. And now we're getting back to normal.
Yeah.
We've got a couple of minutes just before we get David on board.
Yeah.
You're now doing a hybrid.
Yeah, hybrid. Yeah, so we do online meetings every month. So we do first and third Tuesday of the month, 10 to 11. We kept it at the same time, but it's only twice a month that we do the online meetings. And then in key cities, so Birmingham, London, Gloucester, looking at Bristol, Manchester at the moment, and we're going to be launching those from September. We do one event a month in each one of those cities.
Brilliant. And I was just talking to Mark this morning, and I'm going to get him international.
I loved about this.
We've got to get you
this
international.
Is a new and
the Business Growth Network. People need it all over the world, mate.
Yeah,
and there's nothing stopping you doing that.
There's nothing stopping you because we do get people from the States, from Canada, Ireland coming into the meetings as well. Type thing. So so we need to be out there. So
just one final thing, just to wrap this up in terms of the theme of the event, the resilience. I really, really appreciate you sharing that story at the beginning, because I know, I remember the first time you shared that. You held that in for so many years. But you carried it with you. But it's such and I remember vividly when you first shared it with me, and you hadn't shared it publicly at the time, and it was when I had COVID. I got COVID before anybody had heard of COVID.
You said I've got cold.
That's it. Spread it around his entire networking group, unwittingly. But I remember you telling me that story, and I remember encouraging you to share it, because I do wonder, and there's a question I've always wanted to ask you about that, is that, do you think, having had that traumatic experience such an early age, it gave you the resilience to kind of deal with anything that life could throw at you thereafter?
It must have been, because unknown to me at the time how that was built in to my being, if you like. And only now talking about it, maybe 35 years later, it feels like a lifetime. But it's made me who I am. It's made me who the person I am to not want to give up. And I don't want to take anything away from Jock's memory, Stuart's memory type thing. It just means that I know now what a dark place he must have been to do what he did.
Well, I really appreciate sharing that.
Thank you.
Mark, you're an absolute legend.
Good to see you.
It's such a pleasure to have you, and thank you so much for sharing your story. I know that the guys that are watching will get so much from it, because your stories will truly inspire them.
Thank you.
Awesome.
And thanks for the photo.
I do apologise for that. I couldn't resist it. Brilliant. Right then. So let us move on to our next guest. So Mr. David Rahman is going to join us now. This is where I have to embrace the beauty of technology again. I'm just checking, see if he's online. He's coming through. And let's just see if we've got him here. And I'm going to use this as the way of doing it. Here we go.
He's on Google Meet right now.
He's on Google Meet.
You might be on a different link to the one that's up there.
Right. We don't want him on Google Meet. We want him on StreamYard. Okay. So, can you bear with me just a second, guys, and I will get him through. Can I do it? Embrace the beauty of technology. I'm sure I sent it to him. Here we go. David Rahman. Okay. Could you let him know I've just sent him the link, and I will bring him straight in. We've got Gustaf on standby. Gustaf's got the link. There we go. So awesome. So I'm just going to share this again, and I'm going to Dan, you'll know when David arrives. You can see him on StreamYard, yeah?
Yeah.
Brilliant. Okay, guys, I'm going to do a bit of filling now because we're waiting for David to join us. So I just want to sort of recap on what we just talked about with Mark, actually, because I've been wanting to have a chat with Mark about that I remember distinctly having a chat with him in that February before lockdown when he told me that story. And the thing that, I've always wondered is, having had such a traumatic experience, is that's what's given him that resilience throughout his career, because resilience is built from the trauma that we go through, from the things that we actually experience. And we never really know how resilient we are until we face those moments where we have to make decisions about whether we're going to keep moving forward or whether we're going to give up, whether we're going to throw in the towel. And having known Mark for such a long time now, I've seen him time and time again pivot and bring himself round to these different scenarios where he's been able to keep that momentum going, to not give up, to never have those moments on the hill that he talked about, certainly on a regular basis, because we all have those moments in life, guys. We will all have times when we question whether we want to carry on with our business. Hopefully it won't be any worse than that, but have those questions about, do we want to throw in the towel? The resilience that we have that takes us past those moments is the difference between success and failure. And that's why we need to do what we do. So I'm just going to check. Is David, is he in the stream now?
It's not showing from my side properly.
I'll just double check him. Here he is. Let's have a quick look. He's here. The legend that is Mr. Rahman. How you doing, buddy?
I'm good, thanks. How are you?
Awesome, mate. Awesome. So let's just share the screen. Right. So first thing I need to do, as you know, when we do these events, we're often what's the word I'm looking for? We are tech.
Tech challenge.
Yeah. We have trouble with our tech because it's a challenge. But so I just want to check. Can you hear David? Okay.
Can you hear me?
Fantastic. Brilliant. So David is coming to us live from beautiful Wales.
Yes, Cardiff today.
You're in Cardiff today. Now, I don't know. Did you get a chance to see the previous guest, or did you just dive straight in?
Well, me?
Yeah.
Technical challenges. Let's put it that way.
No worries, mate. I think just the context of Mark, who I've just had a chat with, is right up your street, mate. Right up your street. But we've had a really good chat with Mark in relation to his resilience in business. I'm really looking forward to your presentation, mate, as ever. We've got loads of Blam partners. We'll have other entrepreneur business owners watching this as well. We've got a feed from LinkedIn, on YouTube, on Facebook. So I will go hand over to you, mate, and hopefully, we use StreamYard loads of times, haven't we? So you know exactly how to share your screen.
Yeah, I'll share the screen, Grant. Just
I'll
do a presentation for the guys, and hopefully we can help people and ruffle their feathers.
Awesome. I'm going to kick myself out, and I'm going to give you the screen. Here we go.
Right. Fantastic. Hello. Happy Thursday, June the 9th. This is all about brilliance. Resilience is brilliance. Funny enough, I was talking to Grant a couple of days ago about tech challenges, and putting an event like this, kudos to Grant for putting an event on for the partners to help you really become more resilient. So 2020 was not a brilliant year in terms of us as people. 2021, we're recovering. 2022, let's take back our right to be successful and get in charge of your life. I'm David Rahman. I'm a mind coach, and I just wanted to share some tips and real world strategies, really, to become more resilient. And I just want to go through the definition of resilience and help you with some tips move forward and grow your businesses. And we've got another 6 months of this year, so why not keep growing your business and enter 2023 on a high? So I want to share my screen with you. I think you're going to be able to see my slides in a second. Computer, upload. Where are they? There we are. So I'm just uploading the slides. It's a bit different to last time. Anyway, it's technology. I'm just going to wait for these slides to upload. Okay. Share my screen. Share the slides. Share the slides. There we are. Brilliant. So resilience is brilliance, because that is the title of the show. And I want to show you, if I can, how to build resilience done today. First of all, just like to ask Grant, can you actually see the slides before I proceed? Can everybody see the slides?
Hey, mate. All good.
Okay, thank you.
No.
So, right, okay. So how to build resilience. And resilience is something that we all need. And it's really something that it affects and impacts, I would say, every part of our life. So we need strength to get more ideas. You know, we need to grow, and it's all in there. Endurance, overcome. And when I talk about resilience, really during this session, I want you to think of where you can use it in your business, and also your life, your personal life, your body, your weight loss journey. Whatever's impacting on you is gonna impact on your business. You know, if we have marital problems, or we have problems with our neighbors, we have problems with colleagues, we have problems with calling people up, cold leads, we have problems with going into networking meetings. These were all test us and test our resilience. And really, I want you to be able to have a look at this definition. This is my definition of resilience: the ability to withstand difficult times and bounce back. And goodness knows we've had difficult times. It isn't, though, it's not necessarily a personal trait. So therefore, it can be learnt. You know, we've got this system in place. People call it mindset. It's our ability to think. So it's our ability to think our way out of trouble. And it's our ability to enjoy every moment. It's in our ability to conquer our fears. So our mindset, if you imagine it to be it's like a wild stallion. So we have to be in charge of it, not it be in charge of us. Many times have I heard people say to me, you know, I was practicing these tools and techniques and whatnot, and it really worked. Really worked. And I got my business going. I got myself into a great place. And then they said things went Pete Tong. And I asked them, well, what happened? And they said, well, I hear I stopped using what helped me in the first place. So sometimes we get to a place where we feel strong, we feel successful, we feel on top of the world, and then we stop doing the little habits or things that got us there in the first place. So resilience can be learned. You don't have to think about some people are special and I'm not special, or some people are born resilient and I'm not. It's something that some people are naturally resilient. You can knock them down and they'll bounce back up. And you might see that with a 3-year-old. So you might have a pair of 3-year-old twins. One is highly resilient, seems to bounce back up when they get knocked down and has a little cry and then gets on with it. Well, the other one, the other twin feels sorry for themselves, doesn't seem to bounce back as easily. So that's just proof that resilience is not necessarily genetic. It's something which is part of your character, and you can develop it. You can develop it, and often I've heard people saying that I was never born this way. I was never born resilient, but life made me resilient, made me think differently. And I read lots of books, they say, or I got help, and I got people to mentor me. So there are many ways of developing resilience, and there are quite a few tools that I want to help you with to learn to become more resilient, and just to say to yourself, I can do it. I can do it rather than I can't do it. So if you find yourself even saying those words, I can't do it, then that's going to decrease your ability to withstand difficult times and challenges. So having a can-do personality or can-do mentality starts with you. So just to say to yourself, I can do it. I can do it. I have to do it. So really, if you look at your business, and if you look at what drives you, if the driver is strong enough, you're going to get through. You're going to pick yourself back up. And our drivers primarily are emotional. So the ability to physically get up is your legs. But the ability to withstand challenges and pressure and rejection and drawbacks and disappointments and being let down. I mean, goodness knows I have been let down a million times. However, it doesn't stop me. So if it doesn't stop me, it shouldn't stop you. Was I born optimistic? Yeah, I think I am an optimist. I was always an optimist. Looking back at my childhood, I was knocked down many times, but I was determined. My father once said, your outstanding quality is tenacious. You're tenacious, son. I remember thinking, well, what does tenacious mean? As a teenager, so I picked the dictionary up and I thought, oh, right, okay, yeah. So I have a lot of tenacity. So I must have had that from a young age. You can develop that. So you've got to look at your reason as to why you're doing your business. What do you want to achieve from it, and how do you want to feel? How do you want to feel? If you're already successful, you'll know. If you're on the way there, you just think about how do I want to feel to be successful? Why do I want to do this? And think as well. I'm going to go slightly off piste here, but I think I'll mention it on one of the slides. You've got to think about your big emotional drive, your heart. What do you love about your business? What do you love about it? I want you to think about that. So hopefully you've got a notebook and pen. Just think, what is it that really I love? I mean, love is such a strong word, but it's the most powerful word we know, love. The polar opposite to that is hate. So we hate to be disappointed. We hate to not be liked. We hate to be shot down. We hate to be in fear of something. What else do you hate? And I want you to think about that. What do you think is the overriding reason why perhaps you may not have been as resilient as you could have been in the last couple of years? And what you love. When you think about what do you love about what you do? What do you love about your customers? What do you love about the feeling when you have a sale? What do you love about the fact that you're in service? Because everyone on this planet, whatever you do, whether you're a curtain maker or a gardener or you're working in the oil business, whatever it is, maybe oil business wasn't a great analogy, but whatever business you're in, we're of service to make people's lives better. If you're a journalist or you're a footballer, we're all looking to do what we love in life. So I want you to think about, what do I love in life? Challenge yourself. What do I love about my business? What do I love about being successful? What do I love about when What's the feeling I get when I sign a new client up? So you've got to get into those feelings, get into those emotions, because they drive us. The mind is the first step. That's something that clearly, that's my expertise. The mind is the first step. The second step is your emotions, how you're feeling. Because if you're waking up feeling like SHIT, then you may not get onto the phone and call the people you need to call. You may not get onto the email. You may think that life's trod all over you, and you may be feeling victimized and be saying, why me? Okay, so what I always recommend is something called expressive writing. Now, expressive writing was developed over the last 20 years. I mean, it's not wholly new. People have been writing for thousands of years, but expressive writing is literally, if you've got a problem that's knocked you down, or a problem or a challenge, then sit down, and this is where you can change your mindset. But it does, I'm always saying this, it does require us to work, because remember, the mind is invisible. I asked this the other day to a group of people, what's the difference for weight loss as opposed to changing your mindset? And they got it. In terms of with weight loss, you can see in the mirror you need to lose weight, or you feel you need to lose weight. You can see it, or you can see it when your clothes don't fit you anymore. In 2020, I couldn't put my jeans on. I spent most of the time in shorts because I put on weight. So I had to lose weight. So I lost 20 pounds, which is about 1.5 stones. And I changed my mindset around food and times I eat and all that stuff. I did the work. So this is where you've got to do the work. So expressive writing, this is pen, paper. Please do not ever use your keyboard or your phone to do expressive writing. It's not something which works as well. Okay, it's not something that works as well. I've done it with different clients, and all the clients who've used pen and paper have had better results. The ones who have insisted on doing a keyboard, it's not good. And I tell you, one of the reasons it's not good is because you can be easily distracted with a keyboard, easily distracted with a phone or your laptop. Whereas pen and paper, it's you and the pen and paper. It's old school, but it works the best. So expressive writing for 20 minutes. So 20 minutes where you are away from the world. So get away from the world. Get away from the people you know as your world. So go somewhere. You could be sitting in a car with your pad and pen, or you could be in a coffee shop, and you just use you and the pen and paper, and just write down your thoughts. Write down a stream of thoughts non-stop for 20 minutes. No more than 20 minutes, no less. 20 minutes. Give yourself that precious time of 20 minutes. And write down exactly what's on your mind. What's on your mind? Because our problems can affect our ability to be resilient. So imagine resilience to be a muscle. Okay? It's a muscle. So you've got to build up this part of you, that muscle. Build it up and build it up and build it up. If you can do that, when the SHIT hits the fan, you can deal with it quite quickly. This is what resilient people do. They're able to deal with it because they have the resilience muscle. So you can actually develop the muscle. So what expressive writing does is gets all the SHIT out of your head onto paper, and you can make sense of it. So what I want you to do is, when you do this, write down all your thoughts and do it don't worry about grammar. Don't worry about full stops. Don't worry about capital letters. Just write down a complete stream of thoughts. And it's been proven that you can problem solve quickly out of a problem, rather than just sitting there and mulling over the problem. This is a good way of doing it. So building your resilience by getting a problem down. And then when you've got this 20 minutes worth of, it might just be one A4 side. It might just be a paragraph. I don't know. But I honor that if you can do that, and then circle little nuggets of gold or possible avenues you can take out of a problem. So circle little nuggets. So you might see something like, I'm scared of making phone calls. to new clients. I'm scared of going. I feel angry with myself. You've written this. I feel angry with myself and frustrated because I didn't stand up for myself the other day. So it's just circle little things. And what you'll do is you'll look at a pattern. Look at a pattern of what needs to be worked on. And you can work on that. And you can perhaps share it with somebody who's close to you, trust. You can get help on all these things in terms of having to work out, mentors, coaches, whatever you do. Get help. Always get help. If you can get help, because I promise you, you're not going to be able to do it yourself. No one has ever been successful by doing it themselves. And you certainly won't be the first. So I want you to think about what can you do that's going to help you. This is the first step, 20 minutes a day, and then get writing. When you get writing, you put all your cards on the table. So hopefully you can take this and run with it today, 20 minutes on a piece of paper or notebook. And what it does is it reduces the emotional intensity. Because remember that when we've got these thoughts in our head, we have emotions. So if you say, I hate myself inside, you probably will say it in a different voice. I hate myself, or I really am angry at myself. So we have emotions around our thoughts. And because these emotions around our thoughts, we need to strip them back so we have a better clarity of thinking. Remember, resilience, the muscle of resilience, starts with the way you think. It has to start somewhere. So it starts the way you think. If you think, why me? If only I stood up for myself. Why do I keep people pleasing? Why do I keep putting off stuff and procrastinating? I'm so annoyed with myself. I keep starting things. I never finish it. Why do I get distracted by so many different things at once? All of these things can decrease your resilient muscle. All of these things can decrease your ability to be strong in the face of adversity. And it's something that I want you to learn as a behavior. All your behavior is rooted in your emotions, which are from your thinking patterns. And you can discover these through your this technique called expressive writing. So what I want to think about now is furthermore to what I've just said, is the addition of be kind to yourself. Now, for years and years, I don't think I was kind to myself. I was always putting myself down, and I was always minimizing my successes, and I was always thinking that I haven't done enough. So I want you to be kind to yourself, and being kind to yourself is really something that a lot of people are not. They don't like themselves. In fact, if you're watching this right now, I want you to think of something. Now, I talked about love earlier on. I'm going to ask you a question. And what I want you to do is to be honest with yourself. Please don't put it in the chat box. Okay, I can't see the chat box anyway, but please don't put it in the chat box. This is private to you. But what I want you to answer is, on a scale of 0 to 10, 10 being high, how much do you love yourself? On a scale of 0 and 10 being high, how much do you love yourself? Now, if you're less than an 8, that's just not good enough. That's absolutely not good enough. You should be a 10. We should all be a 10. I want you to think about, if you're less than a 10, it's not good enough. You're doing yourself a disservice. You're doing your business a disservice. You are doing your relationship a disservice. I did a workshop this morning on values, and this subject came up in terms of validation. Somebody who doesn't really love or like themselves needs a lot of validation. And because of that, they often step back in making important business decisions. They're looking for validation. They don't have any certainty. If you ask them to make a decision, they just can't make a decision. If you ask them if they're looking for help, they just don't know where to turn or what to do. So our level of validation is related to how much we actually love and like ourselves. Because remember, your business is you. If you're a solopreneur or entrepreneur, you're a business owner, your business is you. People are buying you. Remember that. They're not buying your software. They're not buying your shoes if you're selling shoes. They're not buying your furniture. If you're a furniture maker, they're buying you. They really, I mean, obviously the product is important, but they're buying the person. If you see two Italian restaurants next door to each other, and there is one, there's this case locally to where I am, two Italian restaurants, and you go into both restaurants at different times, and one gives you absolutely brilliant service. Both places have equal levels of cuisine, taste. Everything is the same, except the service is better in one. Which one would you go to? Of course, you go to the one with the best service, because they're representative of, you want to pay them for their service. So you are the business. So resilience starts with you. So be kind to yourself. Got to be kind to yourself. And one thing that a lot of people forget, they make the assumption that they're the only ones on this planet who are actually having a problem today, and that no one else is. We tend to think that we're the only one who's experiencing pain or a problem or an issue. Well, here's the news. Everyone has issues. Everyone has problems. Everyone I know who's successful or unsuccessful has issues, has problems. It's normal. If you didn't have problems, you're probably 6 foot under. So it's okay to have problems. But it's not okay just to dwell on them and do nothing about finding the solution. So be kind to yourself. That's so important. You can do this. Now, this might be a little bit strange to a few of you who've never done this, but write a letter to yourself. Write a letter to yourself. Now, this letter could be forgiveness. It could be appreciation. It could be gratitude, compassion, whatever you think. Write a letter to yourself, because you want to be compassionate with yourself. You want to access that part of you. Now, again, I'll repeat myself. Too many people beat themselves up over nothing, over something minimal. Criticize ourselves over something minimal. And what I want you to do is to write that letter and be compassionate with yourself. Some of you will do that. Promise some of you on watching this will do that. Some of you won't. Some of you will say, I'll do it later, and life goes on. Okay? So however amount of work you put on in yourself to build a resilience muscle is determined by your attitude to you actually changing you. No one's going to change you but you. So that's when that was told to me years ago, and I realized, yeah, I'm in control of my life, no one else. Of course, things make me happy, like a sunny day or a holiday, a good movie. However, by the way, I saw Top Gun recently, Top Gun Maverick, really good movie. A really great movie. That can change your mood. So when we look after our mental health, when we look after us, and I'm not talking about ego, I'm talking about self-love. I'm talking about there are too many people on this planet who actually don't like themselves. And when I meet them, I know it straight away, just by their language. That's because I know how to read people. But from yourself, if you think you are not being compassionate to yourself, here's a quick way of finding out. Ask 5 people, up to 5 people, your closest friends or relatives. Are you the type of person to self-criticize quite easily? Do you beat yourself up? Do you put yourself down? Sometimes we don't even know we're doing it. But the language that comes out of our mouth can be picked up by others. So if you know someone you trust who'll give you the honest answer, because sometimes the truth hurts, but you've got to access that truth to change your ways of being, your ways of thinking. You've got to do the work. So ask your spouse or ask your best friend, somebody who can tell you on a scale of 1 to 10, how much do I tend to criticize myself, self-criticize, put myself down. Okay, so this is important for you, because when you do this, you'll discover more. Sometimes we overrate ourselves internally because we don't want to hurt ourselves. We don't want to feel bad. So find out from someone, how much self-criticism do I do? Okay. So think about yourself, write yourself a letter, and build up that compassion muscle, because it's allied to resilience. Resilience is falling down or being knocked down like a boxer and getting back up, just like Tyson Fury. Just getting back up. When life throws you all these curveballs, he got back up and became world champion. So I want you to think about that. You can get back up if you have the willpower. And that willpower comes with discipline. Now, discipline for me used to be, allied with, if you think about it, school. Being in school and given 100 lines because you've been a naughty boy, David. 100 lines. I remember having to write the same line. I will not, I will not be disrespectful again. I will not be disrespectful again, and so on. And we allied discipline with being told off. But discipline is a muscle, and it's you actually saying to yourself, "I will follow the command I give myself." Whatever command I give my mind, it's going to follow me because I choose that way. So discipline is maybe getting up in the morning and really just working out for 15 minutes. Or discipline is deciding, this week I'm going to run 5 kilometers. That's just personal to me. That's what I say to myself every weekend. Next week I'm running 5 or 6 kilometer runs on any day in the weekdays. And usually in the morning. If I haven't done it on a particular day and I want to do it, I'll do it in the afternoon. I've got the time. So that's the discipline kicking in. Okay, when you become accountable to yourself or a buddy, you tend to get faster results. So important that don't beat yourself up, get back up and keep moving forward. The next way of life I want you to think about is meditation. I want you to think, have you ever meditated? And have you ever looked upon yourself as somebody who is able to calm down your thinking? Now, interestingly enough, I don't know if you have meditated. Does anybody want to pop in the chat box? Has anybody meditated? Have you meditated, Grant? Any of the guys meditated? I'm interested to know. Want to jump in?
Hey, buddy, can you hear me?
Hi.
Hey, mate. Yeah, I meditate. I haven't got it on a schedule, but what I do is if I find gaps in the day, if I'm at home, I do a 20-minute meditation, and I use YouTube, and there are you can do a search in YouTube for success meditations, and I just do a search 20-minute success meditation. There's quite a lot of them, and I do that.
That's really good. That is really good, actually. For anybody who just want to share something, I mean, with you about meditation it doesn't mean you are stopping thinking. I think just to clarify that, meditation is just get into a different state of mind. And so with Grant accesses the meditation for a success, a winning mindset. So Grant listens to it and it gives him almost like a download of this mindset. Because have you noticed when you say go to the cinema and you've watched a rom-com, then people come out feeling good. A feel-good comedy, you feel good. If you watch an action movie, you feel you're in an action mood because it changes your mood. And if you're listening to inspiring, motivational tracks for meditation, it's going to give you that mindset and mood. It's going to change how you feel. Similarly, meditation can be used to calm yourself. So if you're going through a really hard day, it's been not to your liking, you can put on a calm meditation. So you don't actually have to do it by yourself. You can go into YouTube, Synctuition, Calm. There's loads of different apps you can access if you feel I can't do this by myself. So some people like to meditate by themselves, just close their eyes, and that's okay because the thoughts are going to come anyway. No one can not think, unless you're a Buddhist monk. No one can actually not think, because things are gonna come up in your mind, like, oh, did I close the garage door, or what's for tea tonight, or have I paid that bill? So these thoughts will come up, but what you're gonna do is just let them go. Like trains to a railway station, just let them come through and let them go. And when you start getting good at that, you won't pay attention to your thoughts. They will come, but you just have to let them go quickly. So meditation has been proven to, if I just put the next slide on, meditation has been proven to actually lower blood pressure, lower stress levels, more increase in clarity of thinking, and you feel calmer when making decisions. So it's a really, really good way of calming the mind down. So if the SHIT has hit the fan, and you're not feeling like your resilience muscle is strong enough, meditation is just something that you can use periodically. If you want to use it every day, great. Even if you do it for 5 minutes, just sit up in your bed, just close your eyes for 5 minutes and just breathe. And then breathe out. If you just focus on your breathing and just do that for 5 minutes, that's meditation. So anyone can do it. And if we do it, it's something that is going to help you. It's going to help you during those periods when you're not feeling good enough, not feeling calm, and you want a little bit of clarity. You can even do it before a meeting. Get that calm mindset before a meeting, because too many of us, before you go into a meeting, you're thinking, what are they going to say? How am I going to sound? Do I know enough? Who am I going to meet? So you can just meditate. Even if you're in the car park waiting to go in somewhere, perhaps to a new client, you can just meditate for 5 minutes just to get that calmness down. So it helps you. It helps you 100%. I'm going to go on to the next slide now. I don't know about you, Grant, but I don't really hang around with the news too much in terms of news channels. Is it something that you do?
It's really weird you've got this slide, because I was chatting to a guy this morning who, just like me, hasn't really listened to the news for several years. And people get quite angry with you when you tell them.
They do. They do. They do.
So
it's almost...
I don't want any negativity in my life, and the news is negative.
Yeah, absolutely. So everyone out there, I don't watch the news. I see the headlines, absolutely. And the way I look at it is, and I'm going to be transparent with you, if you feel fragile emotionally or mentally, if you don't feel good enough, if you don't love yourself, if you are affected by the news, don't watch it. Just don't watch it. It will disrupt your life. It will erode your self-confidence, your resilience, your self-confidence with the confidence in the world, confidence in people. It'll put you in a bad mood, and that's not what you want to start the day or any other part of the day. I subscribe to Apple News, so I just quickly look at the headlines. It doesn't affect me. It's gone past that. And if somebody sort of becomes dramatic about it, a friend or a family, I don't even listen to them. I'm not interested, because if we want to live in drama, our life will become drama. So I want you to think about it. If you're watching drama, you're going to experience drama, and your subconscious mind is going to become dramatic. You'll end up becoming dramatic. So avoid the news. It is dramatic. But I think when people are disgusted, they're horrified you don't watch the news, they take it personally. That's all on them. That's all on them. That's not our business. We shouldn't care. We shouldn't really care. As long as we're living in integrity, we're helping people, we're living our life. We shouldn't care. It doesn't mean we don't care about the world. It means we're not going to be slave to the news every hour of the day. And you're so right when you talk about that. I want to help people out there look at a problem. Whenever we have a problem or we're challenged, you can ask yourself, what's the gift in this? What's the learning in this? What is the gift? What is the learning? How can I learn from this? Rather than why me? Why this happened to me? It always happens to me. My business is not working as well as should. Why did my relationship fall apart? What's the gift in this? You've got to look at what's the gift in this. What that does is it trains your mind to look for solutions. It trains your mind to look for all the nuggets that you can use to move forward. Because resilience is related to a growth mindset. Resilience is like having a baseball bat, and if some life throws you curveballs, you can bat away the curveballs. That's what resilience will do for you. So what I would say is look at what the gift in this. What's the gift? If you're finding out that you're not getting the business you want to, you're putting out emails and they're not bringing you business, then what's the gift? What can you learn from this? Because everything has an upside. What can you learn from this? We tend to focus on the downside. Use your brain to focus on the upside. What can I learn from this? And never give up. You've seen famous people. I remember Mo Salah when back in 2019, Liverpool were 3-0 down in the Champions League against Barcelona, and 3-0 down. And then the second leg was at Anfield, and Mo Salah wasn't playing because he was injured, I think, or whatever. And he had this big T-shirt, this black T-shirt with white letters saying "Never give up." And then Liverpool came back to win 4-3. Which if you put the odds on that, it would have been incredible. Sorry, did you say something, Grant? Oh, right. So the odds on that's incredible. So never give up. Never give up. Have that as a mantra. Never give up. So the next thing I want you to think about is develop a strong social network. A strong social network, people around you who are on that similar journey. So if somebody is in your circle and in a circle and they're constantly causing you to feel doubt and causing you to feel not good enough and why did you start this business and so forth, you need to think twice about asking them for advice and asking them and keeping them in a circle, really, because you need to be surrounded by people who are going to help you grow your resilience muscle, grow your business, challenge you when needed because they think you're not performing at the highest level, and obviously praise you when you're not praising yourself and help you reflect. So developing a strong social network is fantastic. Join a group or a mentorship with like-minded individuals, which is so important to be around individuals who perhaps are doing what you want to do or are further forward from you. You can learn, or people who are at the same level, but at least minimum same level as you, moving forward to help you, to support you. So that supportiveness is just hugely important. And as I said, we want to avoid negative people as much as possible. Now, some people say, how do I avoid my mum or my dad because they're so negative, or my wife? Well, there are certain people you can't, really avoid unless you want to divorce your wife. You've got to think about limiting your time with certain people. If they're in your life permanently, limit your time. And for you, it could save your day, save your business. You can limit your time, because remember, guard your mind. You can pop down a post-it note, guard your mind, and think about what you're allowing into your mind, because your mind is like a sponge. So it's getting in good stuff, it's getting in not so good stuff, it's getting in negativity from social media, from the news, drama at night. So as human beings, unfortunately, a lot of human beings do like drama. They do. So you think about the biggest shows in the world are soap operas. Biggest shows in the world are soap operas. Drama. We do as human beings like drama. And the more time you spend in drama, the more anxious you can feel about the world. So it's not about being Pollyanna and thinking the world is perfect. It's not, but it's a far better place than is portrayed. Incredible place. So what I want you to think about now is, moving on to the next slide, I want you to think about, remember something from the past. I want you to remember, if you're listening to this right now, remember something that happened in the past where you thought you couldn't do it. Something that you thought was beyond you, and you succeeded. So it might have been like you didn't think you could swim the channel. You didn't think you could cycle 60 miles. You didn't think you could start your own business. You didn't think you could write that book. You didn't feel you could ever meet the love of your life, yet you did it. You didn't think you could travel to America and across America. What was the challenge that you thought you didn't think you could pass that exam? Grant, can you share an experience where you didn't think you could achieve something and you did it? And how did it make you feel?
I think it's an interest. As you were saying that, I if I was to sort of open up to you as I do quite often, my challenge is more the things that I haven't achieved. I kind of expect to achieve stuff, and I feel like an underachiever because whenever I achieve something, it's not a shock. I just wonder why it's not better than it actually was. So maybe I'm a bit unusual like that.
Yeah, I love it. I absolutely love it.
So I expect the best and then deal with it when it's not.
And for everyone watching, that's a phenomenal attitude, to expect the best, because everyone on this planet should expect a great life and work towards it. And of course, we'll have challenges and things aren't perfect, but to have the expectation, to be around people like Grant, for me, is great. To be around people with a great attitude, it's so important because attitude is energy. When you walk into a place, a store, and you want to buy some clothes, and the person who's helping you has a great attitude, you feel good. You want to buy because you it's not that you owe them, but you feel good. They make you feel comfortable, and they're genuinely enthusiastic. You go into a restaurant and the server is really, really nice and they're friendly, and you generally know that they want you to have a good experience, because when we go out to the world, every person we meet in every trade, if they give us a great experience, it just makes us feel so special. And if everyone did that, life is so much easier. So attitude is, for me, attitude is everything. The first book I ever read years ago was by Keith Harrell called Attitude is Everything. And it changed me. It got me out of my shell. And well, at the time I was working as an optician, an optometrist, and got me out of my shell, and I started being more confident and understand their attitude. And when my attitude towards, say, a person who's coming in for the last eye appointment in the day should be the same as the first eye appointment in the day. If a child came in for an eye test, that should be as important as a senior or professional. So my attitude shifted with that realization. And if you do that, you can remember that, I can do it rather than I can't do it. The next thing that I wanted to mention is to make time for activities you enjoy, because if you live in a state of joy, we all forget to do these things where we love things and we look back, oh, why didn't I do more of that? I used to love going bowling, 10-pin bowling, and I remember going with friends, and every time we went, we'd always end up saying, we should do this more often. We should do this more often, because when we enjoy something, we often don't make time to do it. We forget to do it. So if you like horse riding, swimming, walking in the park, running, traveling, whatever floats your boat, whatever makes you feel good, theatre. I know we've been in a dark place over the last couple of years, but we've come back out. There's so much more opportunity to go out there and do it. Make time for the activities you enjoy, because when you're in a state of joy, you'll make better decisions. Things that bother you won't bother you as much. You're building up the resilience muscle because you're looking at life as not just your business. It's your playground. Life is like a playground. It's for you to enjoy. And we have this chance to enjoy this experience. And we have a chance to empower other people through our experience, to make people realize how good life is. So when I'm with someone, I don't want to make them feel down. I want to, I would love somebody, if we met and we have a glass of wine or a coffee, to have a nice experience and for us to have a fun time, a good time. There's no way I'm going to sit there and moan about the world. We want to live in a state of joy. It's not that nothing bad is going on in the world. It's a case of what you choose to focus on. There's actually a part of our brain called the reticular activating system, which is our focusing, let's say, muscle in the brain. So when you use it, you'll see the world through a certain set of eyes. If you look at the world as a dangerous place, then when you go out through your front door, you'll be scared. You will be scared. If you believe the world's a dangerous place, when you go out through your front door, you will naturally be scared because the brain has sent a signal down to your adrenal glands, which have pumped out adrenaline and cortisol, and you're stressed. So I know lots of people out there at the moment who actually don't leave the house. They don't go out to eat anymore. They don't go to the theatre or the cinema. They don't go on holidays. They're scared. They're scared, and that's their story. But I respect that. I respect the fact that they're scared. There's not much they can do unless they want to get help for it. So make time for your activities. So important. Establish clear goals. This is you wanting to set goals. Make a plan. Schedule. It's so important that we schedule our time. I know Grant schedules his time ruthlessly and works like a crazy man, and that's why he's so successful, and that's why he's so happy, because he's planning his schedule, and in the middle of that slide, I hope you can see it, is taking action, because you can be, I think I posted something about this yesterday or the day before, about lots of people out there who are, they pray, they're spiritual. I'm spiritual, it's fine. Unless you take action, you're not going to cross that bridge. If you're at point A now, which is here, point B is where you want to be, that the bridge which links it is action. It's always action. So being spiritual, saying affirmations, that's all good. You've got to take action. So you've got to face disappointment and get up, keep going. And this is something that I have to do every single day. So if I fall down, get back up. And I look back at the day and I think, what was good about today? What was good about today? So it could be I found a parking space, perfect parking space. I went somewhere and I managed to get some me time. Great. I had a conversation with someone. I really enjoyed that. So I can think of easily 5 things every day which were wins. And I continue to do that based on Harvard research. I continue to do that every day and it works. You feel good. Continually feeling good. That's what resilience is about. Feeling good even in adversity. Gratitude, so important. I've talked about this many, many times before. However, let me give 3 ways of practicing gratitude. The first way is think of 5 things you're grateful for right now. So in your head, 5 things. It might be family, friends, dog, car, job. All valid, but I want you to go deeper after the session and think 5 things you're really grateful for. So it could be your freedom, your health, the fact that you walk unaided, you can see, your remote control for your TV so you can switch on Netflix later. Whatever it is, 5 things. Keep thinking about 5 things you're grateful for. You can do that first in the morning. The second way to practice gratitude is have a chat with a friend. So it could be a friend or I used to do it with my son. I used to ask him 5 things you're grateful for right now. We called it the gratitude game. So he'd give me 5 things he was grateful for, like the tires of the car. We used to do in the car, tires of the car, the windscreen protecting us, the petrol in the car. So I got him to do it. So you can do it with a friend, a spouse, anyone, the gratitude game. The third one is things that you are grateful for that happened today. Could be one thing. Pop it on a post-it note. I'm grateful for this new client that came in today, and then put it in a jar. So you can have a gratitude jar that you're grateful for. So gratitude has been proven time and time again to change the way you look at life. Where's my slides gone? There it is. Okay. So,
Was that a shameless plug, David?
Sorry, mate?
Was that a shameless plug?
You know what? I don't know how that even slipped in there. It's not even my slides. Anyway, there's my book. I'm so grateful for my book. Yeah.
There you go.
Oh, that caught me so by surprise. Yes. So here's a little, if you take a screenshot, these are things you're grateful for: cats, dogs, music, faith, community, adventure, food. There's so many things. Heat of your radiators, medicine, dreams, so many things you'd be grateful for. There's a billion things you'd be grateful for. You could be walking through a park and smelling the flowers. You could be laying on the beach and just feeling the sand. You could be grateful for someone giving you advice yesterday, whatever it is. So I want you to think about, what could I be grateful for right now? What does that do? It shifts your self-dialogue. It shifts it. It shifts that self-dialogue. Remember, the most important conversation you're ever going to have is with yourself. Keep thinking about that. It's with yourself, and you can have a conversation with yourself every day. Or you can journal. You can journal a couple of things if you wanted to. What went right, what went wrong that day, if you want to. This is something that I do from time to time, not all the time, but I do it regularly. 4 or 5 days a week, do it regularly. I could just journal, review my goals, or something that was on my mind. Just journal, get it out of your head onto paper. It works. It wouldn't have been around for thousands of years if it doesn't work. Another way that I want you to think about life and building your resilience is to give back. And that's just to do some things. It could be monetary or your time. Something for someone, It could be simple. It could be going into, you could go into a coffee shop. You can literally see somebody and buy them a coffee. Just tell the barista, buy them a coffee. Could be anything. Give back. It could be giving your time to a charity online. It could be getting some clothes in your cupboard. You think you're not going to wear these anymore, but go into a charity and give it to that. It could be giving some of your time to someone needs help. So in my case, I give time to people pro bono occasionally, so I know they need help. So that's my way. You've got to give value back, and it's just giving back. It could be going to help out in a school where your child is. Whatever it is, it's something that you can give back and make it part of your routine. And look at your routine, actually. Look at your routine daily to see what you're doing to give back, what you're doing, how much gratitude are you involved, are you thinking about every single day? Could you send a text to a friend and just tell them how grateful you are for the friendship? Build that routine, and then what it does is starts to keep things in perspective. When it keeps things in perspective, suddenly your life changes. You might have things go wrong in your business. You might have troubled times. But if you start to build a resilience muscle, you start to then develop optimism. Even on those rainy days, you start doing it from the inside out, and you start maintaining optimism. Optimism is something which I've always had, and I love that part of me, and I'm happy with that. But you can grow your optimism even just by looking back at your life and think, what percentage of your worries have ever come true? I asked a group this morning. There were like 50 people on this group, and the average answer was 5%, and that's about it. Yeah, about 5-6% research has shown of your worries actually come true. So you should actually have an optimistic mindset, because most of your life, actually, most of your worries don't come true. The things that you want to achieve, you can achieve, but it does take time, effort, and work. So in computer terms, game over. I wanted to mention to you guys quickly before I go, the new 12-week Overcoming Imposter Syndrome program. What I found out is a lot of people's resilience is related to them feeling, and by the way, imposter syndrome is not a mental health condition. It's actually really, if you define it as, we have too many worries and too many doubts about ourselves. We don't feel good enough. So that's what imposter syndrome are. You get people who are successful or not successful. But if they have imposter syndrome, it means that they're actually at the deep level, don't even feel deserving of success. So if you're not feeling deserving of success, it's going to affect your resilience. It's going to affect how you deal with adversity, because you're going to think that you deserve to fail. And this is not something you tell people or tell yourself. This is deep down below in your subconscious mind. So I developed a 12-week program, 6 sessions over 12 weeks to help people, business owners, change their mindset from the inside out so that you end up feeling deserving of success. When you feel you deserve success, I mean, look at Grant. Grant was saying that he expects it. Now, this is something when you expect it, it happens. There's much more chance of it happening. And when you expect it, guess what? You spring back up from adversity. You spring back up when life knocks you down because you expect you will actually do the business. You will actually get results. So if you want to reach out to me at hello@mind.coach, feel free. Feel free to reach out to me at hello@mind.coach. I'm really happy if anybody wants to feel any questions. Feel free about what we talked about. This hour's flown by, Grant.
It has, mate. It has. It was absolutely awesome. Let me.
That's fine. Thank you.
No, I think I'll leave it like that. There we go. Yeah, I'm technically challenged today, mate. I decided I was going to manage all of this myself today, so I thought it would be the best way of doing it. I'm not sure it was the right decision in hindsight.
You're brilliant, man. You're brilliant.
But I think we're all good, mate. That was epic. And just a quick point on that last program that you're running. You know, we've had a few Blam partners reach out to you. You know, we really appreciate the work that you do for Blam, mate. It's such an honour to have somebody, you know, of your level to be in our community and to help our guys. You know, I'm just really grateful. You know, that's definitely one of the things on my gratitude, you know, that I'm grateful for, is to have people like you share your knowledge, you know, with our guys, because I just think it's invaluable. I really do. So thank you from the bottom of my heart, mate. We really do appreciate it.
Thank you. And it's a pleasure. It's a pleasure and honor to work with you. Really, it's so easy for me to work with you and, you know, to serve the partners. Hopefully people out there will just take some value from the session and use it.
Yeah.
Use it to improve themselves.
And that email address there, you know, use it, guys, because this guy's a legend, you know. I wonder if I could just pick up. I was making some notes. And what I always try and do when I listen to you, I always try and make sure I pick 2 or 3 things that I'm going to action, that I'm going to actually do. And there's a one here that obviously we've talked a lot. So write a letter to yourself. That's something I've never done. And I quite like the idea of that. Kind of the thing that I picked up on, and quite a lot of the stuff you talked about today, was that kind of conversation that you have with yourself. And I got to admit, I don't really do that in that way. Where would I start with that letter? How would I go about that?
Yeah, so I would access your gut feeling. Sometimes we spend too much time up there. So if you think about gut, your heart, and your brain, think about, just have a think about it, really. And whatever comes to your mind, because it's you. So something will come to you in time where you will discover, right, I want to write to myself about that. Okay. So it could be a congratulations letter. Like, wow, keep going, man. Keep going. I love what you've done. You know, you might talk about in the letter about how well you've done over the last few years. I don't know. It could be, you know, you attracted a wonderful woman, you've got a son, you know, and your life. It could be that, or it could be a forgiveness letter. It could be anything. So there's no one particular template for everyone, because everyone is in a different window in their life. If you look into a house, through the windows, everyone's life is different. So it might be someone who's really needs to forgive themselves about something that happened 20 years ago. Then do it. It could be something that a letter to say, keep going, you're going to get there. You know, had these experiences, so it could be a letter of motivation. It really depends, Grant, on that instance. I mean, what do you think you would write to just off the cuff at the moment?
It's that, it's why I asked the question. It's a tough one. I think I perhaps want to give myself a bit of a pep talk, maybe, just sort of a like the way I imagine my career and my entrepreneurial journey is it's kind of like half time, So maybe this would be like the letter that I write would be like the coach pep talk before we go out for the second half. I do a football analogy, but I know you like that sort of thing.
Yeah. I mean, whatever you think, because it's valid. And do you know what can make it more powerful?
Go on.
Post the letter.
The what? Sorry.
Post your letter.
Post it to yourself.
Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah.
Post it yourself.
Not to somebody else.
Yeah. It'd be quite funny if you posted to your best mate, Well, I'm going to have a pep talk with you today. But it's.
So the other one was. So I remember I took some advice from one of your talks a while ago, where I got 5 friends to write to me to tell me, what they truly think I'm like. Now, what was interesting about that was you've got to be resilient to take that one on the chin.
Yeah.
Because I had to tell me what my positives and what my negatives were. You remember when we did that one a while ago?
Yes.
The one that you asked today was, ask 5 people, do I criticize? And it was interesting when you said you might be kind to yourself and think that you don't. I'm quite interested to find out whether I do or not, because I'm not sure that you know the answer to that yourself.
It's true. You people who spend time with you and know you consistently will be able to give you immediate feedback.
So that's it. And I think what's really important just for the listeners, the viewers, is that it's so important that when David does one of these talks, that you take this advice and you actually apply it. My office at home is full of stuff that I've applied from David. I've got my gratitude folder. I've got all my notes around the screen and my TV. All of these the thing where I reached out to 5 people and asked them, the pros and cons. It's important stuff, guys. And what I love about the way David approaches this is all scientific. He's not saying it for fun. It's not, it's not sort of pie in the sky woo-woo. David comes from that clinical psychologist perspective, that scientific perspective. And that's really what gives it credibility to me. And that's what makes me do it. Don't question it. Just do it and see what results you get. Brilliant, mate. It's been an absolute pleasure. I really want to say thanks. We're going to crack on with the presentation now. Look forward to seeing you in Birmingham. We'll have a catch up very soon.
Yes.
But thanks for everything, mate. Really appreciate it.
Thank you. It's been brilliant. Really appreciate speaking to you. And I'll speak very soon.
Thank you.
Take care. Bye.
Okay. Awesome. So, right now, I've got to do my screen thing, haven't I? What do I do? I do that one? No, that one. And then that's the right one, isn't it? Right. Is that right, Dan? Have I got that sorted? Yeah. I've done it. Brilliant. Tell you what, it's like working with a professional, isn't it? So, guys, that was awesome, wasn't it? Thank you, David. It's been an absolute pleasure having him as ever. So now it's my bit, and I've done a little presentation for you before we bring on the last but not least, Mr. Gustaf Wilhelm, and we are going to have a little chat from myself. Will good?
No, it's not showing the back screen. Just you stand in front of it.
Oh, because I'm right in front of it. There we go.
There you go.
Thank you. I do need prompting. Thanks, Dan. Right, let's talk a little bit about resilience, guys, because we've heard from two fantastic speakers there. Let me take you down a little journey of how I look at resilience, how I utilize resilience, and how I think I can help you guys, particularly Blam partners, but anybody that's an entrepreneur or anybody who's looking to achieve success, what it's all about. So I did a little lookup and got this little quote from the dictionary, and I found this quite interesting actually. When you look at resilience, the capacity to recover quickly from difficulties, toughness, and that is the dictionary definition. The bits that I take from that was to recover quickly. Resilience is about recovering quickly. We're all going to recover. What doesn't kill us makes us stronger is a good old-fashioned saying. We're all going to recover at some point. But can we recover quickly? Speed is so important in entrepreneurial life. Recovering quickly is the key. I remember when I was on my mastermind group with Ryan Dice, and he talked about the time that he lost his first business, which, for anybody in business, it can happen. You can lose your first business. And his wife said to him, you get one duvet day and then you're back at it, because you've got to recover quickly. Now, number 2 in the dictionary, the ability of a substance or object to spring back into shape, elasticity. And I found that one fascinating because that's what we need to be. We need to be elastic. We need to know that we're going to spring back to where we were with that positivity and that attitude of getting stuff done, despite what life will throw at us. Life is going to throw stuff at us, guys. We are going to need to be resilient. We've got to spring back into shape quickly. We can't mope around feeling sorry for ourselves, guys, because in business, we will get loads of excuses to be that person that blames everybody else. You've got to recover quickly. You've got to have that toughness. You've got to spring back into shape. This is what resilience is all about, guys. Okay. This is an entrepreneurial fact, and this is from, the dictionary of Grant. Without resilience, you will not be successful. That's why this is such an important event for us, for you guys out there looking at this, but particularly for you guys that are on that early stage of your entrepreneurial journey. If you give up when you face hardship, you might as well give up now, because you will face obstacles, you will face challenges. You've got to know that resilience, springing back quickly, is what the traits of the successful, are. That's what we always say. So let me talk you through some examples, because I personally get inspiration from other entrepreneurial stories, a bit like Mark today, and I'm sure we're going to hear loads from Gustaf when he comes on. But I love entrepreneurial stories because the story really, what they call the hero's journey, was always about when somebody overcomes some form of difficulty. Arnold Schwarzenegger, one of my favorite entrepreneurs, has got so many examples of how he's overcome adversity. Now, he started off in life in Austria, and he was in the military, and he was trying to become a bodybuilder. And when you're in the military, he was a tank driver in actual fact. To get past, the obstacle of not being able to train, he used to strap all of the weights to the tank, and then when everybody else finished their shifts, he would be using these weights to build his muscles. He then went on to be a power lifter, and then he decided that for him, after becoming a really successful power lifter, he wanted to become a bodybuilder, and he wanted to be successful in America. And he went over to America and became the best, most well-known bodybuilder of all time. And he did that with using his resilience, his perseverance. And all the time he was doing this, he had a job as a bricklayer. He was a builder. And then he used to go to classes in the evening to learn to act. Now, this guy, as we know, Arnold Schwarzenegger, he is one of the top actors of all time. And everybody told him that he's got no chance of being a Hollywood superstar because nobody is going to listen to that accent. And even today, he's got the strongest Austrian accent that most of us have ever heard. There is no way he fits any kind of stereotypical leading man in Hollywood. And yet, He's one of the highest grossing actors of all time. Arnold Schwarzenegger then went on to become governor of California. California would be one of the top 10 countries in the world by their sort of gross turnover. And he became the governor of California. It's an unbelievable series of events that Arnold Schwarzenegger went through. And when you listen to his motivational speeches, you understand the kind of resilience, the kind of perseverance that guy's got. And I personally take so much from his story, because I can't imagine ever holding a candle to the kind of achievements that guy has achieved. But just by understanding that there are people out there that can go to that length, there's people out there that can overcome such massive odds to achieve such high success, that's what keeps me resilient. That's what keeps me going on. It makes it makes me feel, like an imposter to a certain extent, because the amount of resilience that somebody like him has got is completely off the charts. So any of you that don't know the story of Arnold Schwarzenegger, his book is called Total Recall. It's absolutely fascinating. It's one of my favorite books. The one takeaway from that book that I talk about often is that his philosophy for life, for business, for success, all comes back to the way that his philosophy to build his body. It's all about the reps. Repetition builds reputation. And when you put the reps in, when you do something so often, David Rahman talks about this, it just becomes habit. Repetition, repetition, repetition. Whether it's your business, the actions that you need to take, whether it's the things that you want to achieve in life, it's all about the reps. Arnold Schwarzenegger, what an inspiration. Next one, David Goggins. Now, I was thinking about playing a video of David Goggins, but I could not find one that wasn't full of expletives. Because anybody that doesn't know David Goggins, I urge you to look him up. But if you are sensitive to bad language, then maybe it's not for you. However, this guy is just the most resilient bloke on the planet, bar none. He's the only person to have gone for 4 different special forces training and completed them in the US, different stage military in the US. He then became an ultra marathon runner, and he actually did 8 100-mile runs, 8 weekends in a row. Now, for anybody that knows what it's like to do a 100-mile run, it pretty much wipes you out for the rest of the year. And he did 8 in a row. You Can't Hurt Me is his book. And it kind of sends chills down your spine when you read what that guy puts himself through in order to prove how resilient he is, because he believes that you build calluses on your brain in the same way that you build calluses on your hands or your feet when you're doing repetitive exercise. He's got the world record for the most number of pull-ups that anybody's ever done in one go. And talk about calluses, that story is gruesome. However, the way that he goes about approaching anything in life is the most extreme example of resilience that I could possibly give you in this event today. I recommend any entrepreneur should look to that, because it makes you think you can actually achieve anything. And David Goggins makes you feel like you can actually achieve anything if you've got the resilience, the perseverance, the mindset, which is why David Rahman stuff is so good, because all of that stuff that he talks about, it helps your mindset, helps you with that. And then, now this one might be controversial, because love him or hate him, and I know, I kind of do both. I love and hate him in equal measure. But when I first read one of Donald Trump's books and also read his story, the resilience that guy has got is just off the charts. The man is an absolute machine. And like I say, love him or hate him, I'm not expecting you to, take politics or make this a political thing. What I'm talking about here is examples of resilience. Now, that guy sat in a boardroom with his billion-dollar business that was effectively bankrupt, and across the board, all his board members are saying, you're going to have to collapse the business. You're going to have to fold it up. There's nothing left. And his response was, no, we need to expand. And that's what he did. And he turned everybody around. He turned that business around. And he's had an equal amount of failures as he's had successes. But as you saw, as he finally got, you know, the top job in the US, the way that he went about doing that, like I say, love him or loathe him, showed such extreme amounts of resilience that, you know, I take the positive from that. And although there's things, you know, about Donald Trump that I really disagree with, that, you know, the entrepreneurial resilience that he shows, for me, you know, you just cannot deny it. It is truly, truly awe-inspiring, and something that I think I would have felt remiss to leave out. But, you know, don't criticize me from a political point of view. Don't do politics. Haven't got a clue about politics. And then finally, how to build resilience yourself. I'm now going to give you some little tools, some little things to work on yourself to help build your resilience. Because some of you who've been following me for a while will know that last year I put myself through some quite uncomfortable situations. I put myself through quite a lot of, what should I say, questionable things in terms of finding just how far I'm willing to go to push myself, as you remember with my mentor Jojo at the time. And putting myself outside my comfort zone was what the goal was. And I would urge all of you watching this, all of you guys that are entrepreneurial, you've got to get comfortable with being uncomfortable. And I've got one really simple way of doing this, guys, that can help it. And I call this the cold shower challenge. And what I want you to do, guys, is for every day for the next 6 weeks, have a 1 minute ice cold shower every single day for 6 weeks. Why am I asking you to do this? It's because every single day when you turn that cold tap to freezing cold in the shower, you are not going to want to get in. You're going to be saying, oh, I just don't feel like this. It's just not what I want to do. But when you get in and you do it and you come out, you will feel fantastic, and you will have shown that you are resilient, that you can do it. And if you do that for 6 weeks, just like I did when I first started this little exercise, at the end of the 6 weeks, just like David Rahman said in the talk that he gave last year, it will become habit. And you will prove to yourself every single day that you can live with being uncomfortable, that you can build habits, that you can be that resilient person. I now have a cold shower every single day for 1 minute, and I do it without thinking about it. But whilst I'm under that shower, I say to myself, I can achieve anything I put my mind to. I can be comfortable with being uncomfortable. And I promise you guys, not only has it got lots of health benefits, the biggest benefit is up here. It's showing what you can achieve despite really, really not wanting to have a cold shower. It doesn't bother me at all now, by the way, but when I did it, I really did not want that cold shower, I promise you guys. It's horrible in the winter. It's horrible. But it's not going to kill you. It's actually going to do you good. And it's a great little test. Okay, next, cold calling challenge. This goes out to you Blam partners. Cold calling, picking up the phone, speaking to people you don't know, is you putting yourself outside your comfort zone. It's you getting comfortable with being uncomfortable. I say this all the time to Blam partners. If you have got call reluctance, if you do not want to pick up the phone, if you want to find easier ways to get leads, to get prospects, you are doing yourself a disservice, because cold calling is tough. And if you put the effort in to do it, it's more than just getting appointments. It's building your business muscles. It's building resilience. And cold calling is going to help you become a better business person. Here's my challenge. 25 dials every day before 12 p.m. for 3 months. some of you partners watching this will know this already because I've already got you on this regime. $25 a day before 12 p.m. every day for 3 months. This is more than just getting you leads for your business, guys. This is building resilience. This is being outside your comfort zone. The benefit is it's a free way of building your business. You will get appointments. You will close deals. You will grow your business. If you're not willing to do this, guys, ask yourself, are you really resilient enough to build your business? What reason are you giving yourself that you think you can't do it? Is it going to make you feel too uncomfortable? Are you going to make the reason you haven't got enough time? We've all got enough time to do $25, take less than an hour. You can do it every single day. There's nothing stopping you other than what's going on up here. And when you do it, guys, when you achieve this, you will continue to do it. And I promise you, your confidence will be so much better. You'll be a better business person. You'll start to be able to do other things. That's why I bang on about cold calling, guys. Not just because it's going to get you leads. That's the added bonus. Okay. Now, what's the why behind all of this, guys? Success is not about doing the things we like doing. It's about doing the things that nobody else is willing to do. Every successful person will tell you a story where you will say, I'm not sure whether I could do that. Every single successful person. Are you willing to do the things that nobody else will do? Are you willing to have that cold shower every day? Are you willing to make those 25 dials? Because the 1% of people that achieve that super success, are you willing to be that 1%? Or are you going to be average? Are you going to be mediocre? Ask yourself the question, guys. And finally, hopefully this works. I am going to show you a little outtake from a movie that was pretty adequate. You know, it was an average movie. But this one scene in this movie that you may or may have not seen before, for me, summarizes what we're talking about today. And so with a bit of luck, if I press my next button, you'll be able to hear Mr. Sylvester Stallone, absolute legend in life and on screen, give his little speech.
You ain't gonna believe this, but you used to fit right here. I'd hold you up to say to your mother, this kid's gonna be the best kid in the world. This kid's gonna be somebody better than anybody ever knew. And you grew up good and wonderful. It was great to just watch you every day. It was like a privilege. Then the time come for you to be your own man and take on the world, and you did. But somewhere along the line, you changed. You stopped being you. You let people stick a finger in your face and tell you you're no good. And when things got hard, you started looking for something to blame, like a big shadow. Let me tell you something you already know. The world ain't all sunshine and rainbows. It's a very mean and nasty place, and I don't care how tough you are, it will beat you to your knees and keep you there permanently if you let it. You, me, or nobody is gonna hit as hard as life. But it ain't about how hard you hit. It's about how hard you can get hit and keep moving forward. How much you can take and keep moving forward. That's how winning is done. Now, if you know what you're worth, then go out and get what you're worth. But you got to be willing to take the hits and not pointing fingers saying you ain't where you want to be because of him or her or anybody. Cowards do that, and that ain't you. You're better than that.
Awesome, guys. That for me kind of sums it up. You are going to get hit. You're going to want to be knocked out. But just like Rocky Balboa, the absolute screen legend, you've got to keep moving forward. That's what resilience is all about, guys. Okay. So next we have... Oh. Tech support. Where's he gone? We need this guy. Okay, so we're going to be bringing on Gustaf very shortly. I just want to give him a brief introduction because, like I said earlier, I've known Gustaf for a couple of years now, and we met as a result of an organisation I got involved with, which was called the Number One Club, which was a really interesting membership club that is for ultra high net worth individuals. So it's for people that are wealthy, successful, that want to network together. And Gustaf, being one of those wealthy, successful people, was one of the ambassadors for the club. And we really hit it off straight away. He's got a very similar sense of humour to myself, and so we've kept in touch. We have regular meetings, and in fact, with the Number One Club, we've still got connections that we've got working together. But he's based over in Sweden, and he's had such a wide and varied career, and he's now a full-time coach, author, public speaker, actor, which I can't wait to tell you about, and pretty much anything else that you want him to do, he can turn his hand to. He'll tell you he's an amazing dancer. The guy is a bit like sort of the Swedish Superman or the Swedish James Bond. So now I've given him such a big intro, let's see if we can bring him online and introduce the legend that is. Oh, I'll tell you what I need to do, Gustaf. Just before I do that, I need to give you some center stage. Here we go. That's the one. Let's do that
That's
one.
the one.
That's the one.
You scared the living daylight out of me with that introduction. Who was that guy you were talking about?
Who was he?
I don't know. It's only me here.
Absolute pleasure to have you here, mate. And I'm really.
I'm wearing a tie just for you. You know that.
He has a go at me all the time for my attire. So I'm not very smart, but I just thought there's no point making an effort when you're all so well turned out, mate. It's you put everybody to shame.
For you.
There we go.
I'll do it for you.
Thanks,
there you
mate.
go.
So it's all about resilience today, mate. And obviously you've been in business for so long. And there's so many things I want to talk to you about. We've got nowhere near enough time. But what I do want to start with, and something that, you can probably only talk so much about, your sort of career began, if you like, in the Swedish Special Forces.
True.
I'd love to know more about that, because a bit like with Mark, who we had earlier, I would guess that was a great foundation for building resilience back in those days.
For sure. I'll give you a short brief why I choose to go there. Because the last 3 years in school, I was situated in the middle of the countryside because my parents decided that I should move with them for some stupid reason from the city centre of Stockholm. And I hated every day of my life. So every time I came home from school, I went out into nature to just get rid of my anger. And I started training a little bit every day. And that's chopping wood and stuff like that, because that's training you have in the countryside. So anyway, the day came and you had to make a choice where to, because that was mandatory at that time in Sweden. So I thought, okay, it would be great to wear a beautiful uniform in the Navy. However, you spend your time in a little box and people shoot at that box. So that's no good, is it? No, they're gonna blow you up. And then, being, the maverick, it's flying a jet. Great, but you're still in a box. And everything I was looking at was, not good. But in the special forces, it's down to you. It's up to you if you're going to survive or not. It's your resilience, it's your skills, it's up here. It's you. That's why I picked the special forces. And they happened to pick me as well, because you don't just pick them. There's a lot of tests and stuff. But and that was up in the north. And in Sweden, in the north, it's cold, very cold. I never been so close to become a woman as up there, because it was so cold. It went inwards.
Have you still got all your toes?
Yeah, I almost lost hands and feet. I did almost die due to the cold at one point. And again, it was the resilience. The lizard brain woke up when I started feeling, oh, I'm pretty warm lying there in the snow and thinking of taking my clothes off, because that's what happens when you freeze to death many times. But then I realized, okay, this is one of the last stages before you die. So I started walking in the snow, and the snow went up to here. And I was walking round and round and round, just said, I need to walk, I need to walk, I need to walk, until some of the guys came back and they found me, and we started getting the skis on and started working again. And when your hands and feet starts to come to life again, oh, the pain, the pain. Yeah, it's rather painful. So yeah, I almost froze to death, but I still had my hands and feet, and it was only my brain that was fried.
Well, I think how old were you then?
Around 19, 20.
Yeah. It's interesting, isn't it, how, that kind of military training that they give you to I mean, they have to train you to be resilient. At such a young age, it's going to stick in it.
It does stick, and it's also, today it's very modern to talk about the agile leadership, the agile companies. Well, being in the special forces, you can't get any more agile as that. So there you go. And I was listening to Mark. I've been listening to you through all your presentations, and I can relate a lot to what Mark said, and it toughens you up. But he said that feelings are not allowed, more or less. But when you're out there and you might be alone or just have one partner and you have to do a lot of stuff out there, you actually need to address your feelings. Otherwise, you will not survive. You can't just turn it off. You actually need to understand them, but not go with it, okay? You can't become all depressed all of a sudden, because that doesn't work. But you need to at least remember them and know how to handle them.
Mm. So fast forward then, you left the military. What was your sort of, I mean, I don't know about this stage of your life. What was your kind of early working life like? And when did you realize you were unemployable?
I think that was something I realized early. But just after the military, I needed just a job. I wanted to do some travels. I worked at a security firm, and my first day at the security firm, a guy came knocking on the door to the office for this place and shouting, "There is a guy with an axe trying to kill children out at the parking lot." And I didn't even think. I just ran out and I knocked the guy over. I'm not a big guy, but it was, again, I just responded on that because I was trained to do it. So I knocked the guy down, and that was it. But straight from there, I actually started my own first business. And from there on, it's been like that, from one business to another. And I'm totally unemployable. I'm totally impossible. But I do take assignments as a consultant, but that's a period of time that I can do. Yeah. But to employ me, I wouldn't recommend it.
Doesn't come recommended.
No, well, I can help you turn around your business or merge your business or coach your staff or whatever it is. But to have me employed full time, I can build it up, but I can't be the guy who's going to run the business long term, because I get so bored. It doesn't work.
So the thing that I'm interested to know about, because I know, there's so many different facets of your life. When I first met you, I mean, the introduction that I get, it made me really smile, because you were doing an acting job, and you told me you've been in how many films and
80 plus. I've done sitcoms, I've done TV series, I've done films, commercials.
How did that start?
There's always a story to everything, and there's always a woman involved. So there was this woman calling me up, and she knew I was a good dancer, and I had a white tie and tails. So she said, "Oh, I can get this film job if I bring along a guy who can dance and wears, white tie." I said, "Oh, yeah, I can help you with that." So I was doing that as a service to her, and we did the part, and I got the job, but she didn't.
That's a bit embarrassing.
And she still hates me. Still, I mean, it's tons of years ago, and she said, "Yeah, I remember," and then she walks away. So yeah, but it was fun.
And so, what happens then? Do you just get offered more parts, or
yeah.
And it just
I don't look for it. They call me, and so I get. I've done a few commercials lately for different things. I don't have time. I really don't have time to do bigger parts, but I did for a TV series recently a larger part. But no, it's not really. It's not a career.
So it just seems so like random, compared to your. It's
actually brilliant if you think about me going on stage, being an inspirational or a keynote speaker. So they teach me what to do in front of an audience.
Right.
And I get paid to do it.
So you apply both. I say, because it is a performance, isn't it? I guess so. When you do keynotes, it's the same thing.
Yeah, sometimes you need to be all smiley and happy, and then dead serious.
Yes. It's scary.
I'm happy now.
Look.
So happy. Yeah, well,
So out of your career then, if we were to, and I know obviously you've been involved in, do you want to just give a quick overview of some of the industries that you've been involved in? So just a quick overview, and then really what I'd like to do is pick on one where we can kind of think, right, that's where resilience really kicked in.
Oh, that's going to be interesting. So I've actually been an antique dealer working with art antiques. I had export all over the world. So I was fairly big on that. And then I moved on at the same time, I started a business with doing antique fairs, actually organizing antique fairs. And then I actually got burglarized, and it was an interesting Russian mob connection with that. They broke into my warehouse, and I thought, how can I get my stuff back? And this is like 93, 94, and internet was a new thing. So I thought, okay, why not put pictures of my stuff out on the internet? And that made me start a new career as an IT entrepreneur. So I started a wanted site for internet. Name was Alert All. So I put wanted posters out for stolen objects for insurance companies and stuff. But I was so early, so people didn't really understand what I was doing. In '94, people didn't even have email, so it didn't take off. I made tiny money out of it, but I became an expert, leading expert in the world on stolen objects. I was working with Interpol and of course the Swedish police authorities as well. So I started becoming an expert on stolen objects. It's very odd. And I moved on from there, and I became later head of a big Norwegian IT company. What else? I've been a farmer. I bought an estate with 13 roofs, 13 houses, different sizes, and I renovated it all. Before you could Google stuff, and I'd driven a tractor like once in my life, but I thought, how hard can it be? And I'm making my excuses to all the farmers out there, but I thought at that time, maybe they're not the smartest people on earth, so I can do what they can do. And basically I did. And I innovated farming a little bit as well. You have, in a field, you have corners, and they look like this, right? And you back up the tractor, and you plow it, and you sow it, and in this freaking corner. How much time do you spend on a corner, and how much money do you get out of that corner? So my corners were round.
Okay.
I couldn't be bothered. I mean, it wasn't worth it. There's no money in it.
And there's the innovation. I mean,
So
when we first met, you were heavily into art. That was your.
Yeah, I am still, because it's in a big interest. So
Mm.
whatever, I get these interests. But I'm actually heavily into security as well. I started a branch organization for civil security in Sweden 16 years ago, I think it is now.
Mm.
And I've been the chairman for 8, and I'm still on the board, which is weird. You're not supposed to be a board member for 16 years in a row, but they keep me. I don't know why. I really don't know why, but I'm still there. So I'm heavily involved in civil security and security matters. I work with Homeland Security in the US and stuff like that as well.
So one of the things that I think, given the theme, the resilience that we're talking about, I know that not long before we met, you'd actually been swindled, would I say, out of a significant amount of money.
There you go. You want resilience. And this is going back to, I think, a little bit what the others been talking about. So I was swindled, and I was actually, it was 11, 12 years ago. I was turning, 11. I was 50 years old, and I was top of the world. When I turned 50, I had a huge party, 130 people. I, invited everybody, and we had a fantastic time. However, like 3 months later, my business partner at the time pulled the rug underneath me and swindled me, and I became depressed. I lost it all. I lost absolutely everything.
Wow.
I had 0 left, and I didn't have I was homeless, and I was basically on the street. And I found a little tag, and I tested it on houses, and I managed to get into a house, into the basement of a house here in the city. And I was so ashamed because I was the success, and I knew everybody, and all of a sudden I was just, on the streets. So there was a laundry room in this house, and I spent my nights there for a while, and I heated up half a package of noodles per day in a bowl and a hot water from the tap. And I was lying there thinking, my God, what is this? But when I do this as a inspirational speaker, I talk about this time, and I say, whatever you do, be the best, right? So I was the best dressed bum in the city because I was sleeping under an Armani coat. So, you do stuff in style. But I felt pathetic, and I could look down on myself and seeing this pathetic figure who used to be a success. And then I started thinking, but I'm so grateful still because I have 3 wonderful kids, and I've done so much, and I met so many people. I was grateful, and I thought, hey, get out of this, snap out of this. I know people would help me if I just tell them the story, but I was so ashamed. And this is what happens when you fall down. And if you don't crawl up again, you just feel ashamed, or you're lying there. When you get knocked down, the only important thing is how fast can you stand up again. Doesn't matter how many times, stand up again. And you don't fail until you give up. That's the thing. So I started realizing that, I need to do something about this. Do I know people? Of course I know people. So I started reaching out, and I met a guy from an organization that I was actually a part of, and he said, well, let's meet up, and I can listen to your story. And we met up, and then he stopped outside the building, and he said, well, you don't have to live this way. Here's the key. You're not alone. People do fall down, and in our organization, we have this apartment. You can stay here for 6 months. If you can pay rent, perfect. If you can't, we can live with that too. I paid off my debt with them. I stayed 9 months, and I did what David said. I started writing to myself. At that
Really?
time. Yeah, I did. I had to put it in writing. Me, myself, and I called it, and I wrote a lot. And then some other friends gave me the key to their empty apartment. They lived abroad and said, "You can stay in our apartment." And I stayed on a mattress on the floor until I started realizing, but I started doing more film jobs, and I got a little bit of money, and then I started doing a bit of coaching. I did a few consultancy works, and then I started getting some money, and I bought furniture on the auctions online because, bid 30 quid and then you can get something. And all of a sudden I had 150 square meters fully furnished. And I started paying rent at this place as well.
Wow. And
then I met, I was out and about doing all sorts of stuff, and I saw this beautiful woman, and she happened to be the ambassador of Italy to Sweden. So, I asked her out, and there we go. We became a couple, and I moved into a palace instead.
That's nice.
It's always nice, with staff and 40 rooms and stuff like that. And we moved to Brussels for a year. Then I got fed up with that, and I moved back home. But stand up, whatever happens. If they knock you down, you need to stand up and say, was that the worst you can do? Because
so when you were homeless, mate, and you know, you think, so you were what, 51? 50?
Yeah, 50, 51.
Yeah, and and you sit there with your noodles.
Yeah.
Did you expect to get back on top, or were you?
There was a point in my life where I, excuse my language, said to myself, "What's the fucking reason? What's the fucking point of this?" And I remember crossing the street, and I saw this bus coming towards me, and I thought, that's an idea. Then I thought, with this pretty face, no way I'm going to do that. And I have my 3 children, and you can't do that. I have actually a few friends that have topped themselves, and I can't forgive them for that. I listened to Mark and his story. I met that similar thing. So no, I would never do that. So I snapped out of it and I said, no, there is one way, and that's forward. When you fall forward.
Keep moving forward. And I think that theme, keep moving forward, is what keeps coming up. That's what resilience really is. It's the ability to keep moving forward.
Yeah.
No
I'm
matter
60. I'm 61 now. And
no, I thought you were like 53.
Sweet, but I didn't fall for that lie. I'm 61 now. I have an extreme. Well, I've done a lot of things in my life. Stuff we can't talk about. You said the James Bond. Yeah, I've done a little bit of that. I've done a little bit of everything, and I have a vast experience of life, business, and understanding of your mind. And I can relate to most people, whatever they've been through. Most likely, I've touched base on stuff they've been through as well, which means coaching is for me having a nice conversation with somebody which I can relate to, whoever that might be. So this is what I do today. I have a 8-week program that I sell where you actually talk to me every week, and I help you think in new directions and grow as a person and get higher revenue. And I'll promise you I'll do that in 8 weeks. Otherwise, you can get your money back.
I guarantee. And you're always writing as well. You've got many books that you seem to always be writing a book when I speak to you.
Yeah. During COVID, everything stopped, right? So I had nothing again. I was sitting there. I was somewhere on the way to stuff, but it kind of stopped. No consultancy, nothing. And then a company called me up and said, yeah, you've been coaching. Could you come in and coach? Because so many people are unemployed, and there's people that have been on a high level. And you could be the one to talk to them. So I became a job coach for 8 months until they realized they couldn't have me employed there. But, more or less. And during 8 months, I held 850 coaching calls, individual calls, and 50 lectures of 2 hours. So with that, I actually
How to Get a Job.
I wrote
Oh,
that
there
book,
we go.
yeah, which is on Amazon. And
I like the title. That does what it
again,
says.
the resilience. I was talking to a friend of mine, and I said, I'm thinking I should write a book, or maybe more than one book, because I had so many ideas. And she said to me, it's first of all, you're dyslexic, and writing books, that's for other people. It's not really you. And I didn't respond on that. I just went home and started writing. This is written in 4 weeks.
4 weeks.
It's 236 pages. And I promise you, you'll find something you can use as an entrepreneur in that book as well. I wrote it in 4 freaking weeks because I got so mad. Don't piss me off. Do not piss me off. And I never told her that I wrote it. So that happened in social circumstances. Somebody started to talk to me. She was listening in and said, yeah, you can have my book. I'll sign it for you. And she said, oh, have you written a book? Oh my God, when did you do that? Oh, recently.
That's all your fault.
Then I write on social media my inspirational stuff, and people have been telling me, couldn't you collect that and do that in a book format? So in the autumn, that's going to be, it's already written. It's with my editor right now.
That's awesome.
So that's coming out, and then there might be a book about entrepreneurship because that's halfway through. And then I have mystery novels that I'm creating as well, because it's stuff that I've done and fiction. So it's a combination of fiction and other stuff. So that could be interesting.
It's awesome, mate. Well, we're about out of time. So if people want to get a hold of you, where's the best place to reach out to you?
HELLSTEDT.org. Hellstedt.org.
Hellstedt.org. And Gustaf will star in a film. He will do a coaching call with you. He'll write you.
I give you 20. This is the thing. I'm going to give you 20 minutes for free coaching call with me, and you can book that. You can write to me on hellstedt.org, because there is a place there where you can find coaching, and also on LinkedIn, Gustaf Wilhelm Hellstedt. I'm there as well.
We'll get that posted in the link.
Yeah. And anyone from your network is getting 20 minutes free coaching with me, and we'll sort stuff out really quickly. And if you feel like it, you can get into my coaching program as well.
Fantastic. Mate, absolute pleasure. I really appreciate you taking the time to spend with us. We
only touched the surface of
that's
stories.
why we can do another one now, you see. But absolutely brilliant. Thank you so much, mate. And we'll be catching up very soon. And just to say to everybody that's watching, thank you for joining us for the Brilliance in Resilience event. This is going to be obviously recorded on YouTube. It's in the Facebook group. It's on Blam Academy. So as this goes out, we'll chop it up and put it on Instagram. No doubt Gustaf, David, Mark will be spreading it across their networks as well. But let's just leave you from Gustaf and myself and say, if you're in business, remember you need to be resilient. Don't let life get you down. Keep moving forward, and it'll be worth it. Gustaf?
And if you're the smartest person in a room, you're in the wrong room, because
in another room.
Growth is in the other room.
Exactly. It really is. Awesome. Thanks, Gustaf. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
See you
Cheers.
soon. Take care.
Bye.